All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Wavelengths. I'm here with Wayne, former League Pass subscriber, not anymore, and Kannan. You guys got any opening thoughts about what we've seen in the NBA the last couple of days?
No. I'll be honest. I'm surprised about Boston. I was about a season away from writing off Boston because I don't know if y'all had heard it, but I was saying it years ago. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum can't play together, and Boston they really come. I don't think they're gonna really do too much, but it's nice to see. It's nice to
Mhm.
see.
Yeah, I'm a Celtics fan, and it was like they went 36 and 36 last year, perfectly 500. And then there was the same thing. They were 500 through like 50 games this year. So I was coming to the point, like this team's just mediocre. Like it's been 100 games of them showing us mediocre play. And then somehow in February they just come out differently and like they've looked great. And I think they have a chance.
I'll
What do
tell
you
you
think,
what, though,
Ken?
we're seeing some real superstar performances from these top player guys in the NBA. From people like LeBron, our old heads, to new guys like John Morant. League's in good hands.
Hmm. So what do
Uh,
you
I
go ahead?
worry about Ja Morant, but go ahead.
No, what are you worried about with Ja?
So a couple years ago, when before he even got drafted, the big three was RJ, Zion, and RJ. And people was asking, who would you get? Who would you get? I picked RJ. I didn't pick Zion because I thought that he would, I wasn't sure about the weight thing. I wasn't sure if he was going to be Larry Johnson or Glenn Davis. I wasn't sure which one I was going to get. So it was a lot of questions there. Ja is cool, but my point guard theory. But along with that, we've seen too many point guards be hurt like that. This is all on YouTube. I didn't have my podcast yet, but we saw Penny Hardaway be hurt like that. John Wall be hurt like that. Russ, he's kind of been durable like that. We all know about Derrick Rose. Did I say John Wall, Baron Davis? All these athletic point guards don't seem to do too well too long. So I knew he was going to be fun to watch, and I didn't know he was going to be quite like this. But I did see it coming. So I just wonder how sustainable it is. Like he can do this in year 2 and 3, but year 6 and 7, you see what I'm saying? So it was a durability thing with me. That's really it. I
Yeah.
knew he'd be fine.
Yeah, one
But
thing with Ja though is I think he's a very like intelligent basketball player and he's always getting better. So I think he'll be able to adjust his game as he gets older. And if he has to stop playing like that, like I think he'll develop his other skills to the point where he's not like putting his life on the line, like attacking the rim to get 2 points.
so, I mean, and I hope you're right, because I'm not saying I'm out here rooting for somebody to have a career in an injury. I mean, I won't. In Wayne's world, nobody would ever be injured ever. Nobody would even get paper cuts if I had it my way. But I mean, the history shows it.
But I mean,
But I don't know.
I feel like that history is a two-flip coin. I was worried the history also shows, yeah, this could happen, but this history could also show Ja when exactly he should start looking at, all right, maybe let's get the shooting game going. Because it's not like you can't not develop your shooting game, just like a Giannis. Giannis went from having virtually maybe no shot to maybe having a somewhat consistent shot. He's slowly bringing that along. I feel like Ja can do that. And he's already shown that he can hit threes. He can hit corner threes. He can hit straightaway fading threes. I mean,
Yeah,
that game against what was it, the 50 piece? I forgot the team he was playing. But that 50 piece, he hit
I
that
feel like
very
I
long
mean,
three.
yeah,
He
for
has
whatever
range.
reason, yeah.
So what do you guys think about this Grizzlies team? Like, you think they got a shot in the West?
Man, listen, the West is about as wide open as I can remember, and I've been watching basketball a while. I can't remember it being this wide open. So to answer the question directly, do they have a shot? Yes, and I hate to do this. I hate to do like lazy picks, but I think I'm just ready to just go and mail it in for Golden State. Although they look kind of, I don't know what they got going on right now, but Golden State's been to the finals. They got Curry, they got Draymond, Clay.
Hmm.
They're cool. I think Wiseman's coming back. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Draymond's the one I'm worried about now. He hasn't played in like about a month, a couple months. He's been out like 27 games, and I start to get worried if he's not going to be back.
Yeah, I think he'll be back though. That's just me. So I mean, for the followers, I'm not gonna act like I didn't say nothing about the Lakers. By the way, I was wrong. I'm sorry. The Lakers ain't going nowhere fast. So I was wrong about that. Dallas looks good, but I mean, in Memphis, I mean they keep on coming along. But my point guard theory. But for those of y'all that don't know the point guard theory, I just think it's really hard, damn near impossible to win when your best player is a point guard. Historically, it's only happened like 4 times. I know Steph Curry did it, although kind of outlier. Isaiah Thomas, and you can count Magic, but I think Kareem's better than Magic. But if somebody says Magic, okay, fine. But historically, best teams with your point guard don't really go too terribly far. So that's really my biggest thing with the Grizzlies. So anybody and you look at it, even now, like all the top teams, wherever you think is the best.
But the point guard theory applies to all the other teams in the West, doesn't it? Because CP3 is the Suns' best player, and Steph. No, but the thing is, the Warriors' best player is Steph, and Phoenix's best player is Chris Paul. Like it's all the teams are the point guard theory, but one of them is going to have to win the West.
Yeah, but it goes to championship. You can get out the West. I mean, I didn't say, point guards, you don't make the playoffs. You're going to be in the lottery. But you think of the best outside of that, those 2 teams, yeah, they shaking. And those are all time great point guards. Chris Paul and Steph, they, upper echelon. Isaiah Thomas, upper echelon. So the ones that's, got to the promised land and won, upper echelon. But you look at the rest of them, Trae Young, where his team at, Westbrook, I'm just free balling off the top of my head. Best teams, the best at Bucks, Giannis is their best guy. Brooklyn, KD, they best guy. Philly, they best guy. Boston, Jason Tatum, who I think's the best young guy out of all of them. Been saying that.
Nuggets got Jokic,
right. You could say Dallas, but I don't think Dallas is going too far either, even with Luka. And I think Luka's playing the wrong position anyway. Him and Ben Simmons, for that matter. I think both of them are playing the wrong position. So because when you a point guard, and you can call it old school or not. Dame Lillard, that's another one. I don't know how I didn't bring him up. See how they've been doing. But I feel like you're supposed to be a coach on the floor. When I was playing basketball, you're supposed to be a coach on the floor. And, you kind of make everybody else better. You run an offense. And because usually they would go to bigger guys, like a power forward or, somebody bigger than you. Because typically your point guard is the smallest guy on the team. And so when you're trying to win against people that are usually bigger and stronger than you are, more often than not, you're not going to do too well. And I feel like you're better when you're moving the ball and getting everybody involved and get them playing on the string. That's usually where I like your point guard to be. Like that. I don't like my point guard trying to lead the team like that, as far as like a Michael Jordan or a LeBron or something like that.
Do you think a point guard can be a good second option?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yes.
He just can't be like the main primary first option.
Right. Like if Damian Lillard is your best player, I don't think you're getting too far. If Gilbert Arenas was your best player, we saw what happened with it. The closest one that kind of did it, that tried, although he was a shooting guard, was Allen Iverson. Everybody likes to call him a point guard, but Eric Snow was actually the point guard. But somehow AI always gets called the point guard. But
yeah, no. If you go back and rewatch the games, like AI was running off screens a lot off ball. He was definitely a shooting guard.
Right. But you know what I'm talking about? Everything point guard, they just throw Iverson out there just because he was like 6 foot. But nah, man. I hate it. But whenever I see somebody with their best point guard, immediately I'm taking them out of any playoff aspirations immediately.
All right. So we'll get into a little MVP discussion now. Kannan, who are your top guys for MVP?
Depends on so the way I see the MVP race is it comes down to consistency. Now your production night in, night out. And pretty much I would say the story, right? Those are your 3 things that you need for a good MVP. And if I were to give my list another, it would be probably Joel Embiid 1, right? Giannis 2, Nikola Jokic 3. And
Mm-hmm.
here's why. Joel Embiid is slowly becoming the beaming model of consistency, praying that he doesn't get injured, that the 76ers need us ever since this Ben Simmons fiasco started. Ever since Doc Rivers said out loud, I'm not sure what Ben Simmons is going to be doing, right? Ever since he called Ben Simmons out, Ben Simmons has been an absolute, I don't want to say crybaby, but he has not been helpful for the Philadelphia 76ers in any way, shape, or form. Joel Embiid, through his leadership, it's not like he didn't hate Ben at first. He gave Ben his time. He was open and respectful. But at the same time, he wanted his teammate to be out there on the court. He wanted the 76ers to be the best they can be. And when it was obvious that Ben was not coming onto the court, when it was obvious that Ben Simmons did not want to be a Philadelphia 76er, Joel Embiid put on that uniform and said, you know what? We don't need Ben Simmons. I'm enough, right? And he goes out there with Maxey and Tybalt, and he puts on performance after performance. I remember watching my Charlotte Hornets, right, go up against him. And our best center is Mason Plumlee. So I already knew we ain't got no shot at defending this man. But the way he's drawing calls in a year where we've pretty much tightened up foul calling. When you look at production of James Harden post these new foul rules before them, it's pretty. There's a difference. There's a good difference. But Joel is calling fouls, is getting free throws, going to the line, is attacking the basket, attacking the rim. He is slowly elevating this Philadelphia 76ers talk to championship level aspirations, and he made Philadelphia an attractive enough place for James Harden to force a trade to. I know Philadelphia was initially the first place he wanted to come to, but do you really think he would have said, all right, take me to Philadelphia if Philadelphia was, let's say, a 6 seed, or if they're in the play-in tournament? Because Joel has them in that top 3-4 range where they are bona fide championship contenders. That's why James Harden said, all right, take me to Philly. He knows, one, I can play with Joel Embiid. There's no BS there with Joel Embiid. He wants to play night in, night out as hard as he can. And two, Joel Embiid's game is so perfect, right? Because he's a big man that can shoot, but he's also someone that can be ferocious enough to stay in the paint. That's where I think, all right, the story is there. After a career model of injuries, he's finally being consistent, taking his team to take his team to new heights. That's where I would say my story is with Joel Embiid at 1. Now, Giannis.
Hold on, real quick, just real quick. So with James Harden, I just want to say Philly was bad this year. Do you think James Harden was still one out of Brooklyn, or you think he would have stayed, or he would have went somewhere else?
I'd say he'd stay in Brooklyn. If Philadelphia was somewhere like the 7 or 8 seed,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And James Harden took a long look. All right, he knows the stuff with Kyrie, and he sees it like he sees the stuff with KD. He takes a hard look at them and goes, "Where can I be a title contender of this status or better anywhere else in the Eastern Conference?" He's not getting a trade to the Warriors, the Suns. He's not going to the Lakers. He's not going to. There's no way he's going to the Clippers. He's not like any of these top 3 or 4 teams. They're closed off because they don't want to break this up already. Like, what can the Nuggets put in the trade for James Harden? They would just be losing good assets to gain a good asset. Well, you don't need to lose those good assets.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not even that right. Like. It's not even that like he wants to choose a trade. There's nowhere else that's better for him other than like if Philadelphia was this.
It was like the perfect trade, and I think something that gets understated too is the relationship between Daryl Morey and James Harden. Morey's the GM that traded for Harden from the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he said that Harden has like made his career. Like he built that team in Houston around James Harden and let James Harden do whatever he wanted and let James Harden put up 36 points a game. And he said he made his career. So then Daryl Morey gets the job in Philly, and his big move is he trades Ben Simmons for James Harden because James Harden wants to be there because he knows Daryl Morey, the GM, will empower him and let him play the way that he wants to play.
Should he bet not with Embiid shaking and baking like he is? But I ain't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, second, you got Giannis.
Second is Giannis only because I've never seen so much disrespect for a man at the age of 27 who's Defensive Player of the Year, All-Star Game MVP, I believe 3-time MVP. I remember he holds me correct.
Two-time MVP.
Two-time MVP. Finals MVP. Beats. And you can put an asterisk on it all you want, but he beat a Nets team with Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. This man puts a 50-piece.
This year's MVP race.
Yeah, but I'm saying you put all this in mind, and he still goes out and balls out on the court. How little do you actually hear of this man, Giannis Antetokounmpo? Because I haven't heard of people. I barely heard him on. I barely heard him on the Fox shows, right? I barely heard him on First Take. Like the amount of disrespect. If you take Giannis out of that team,
but it's narrative. Like he's just having the same season he had last year. Like he's great, but he just like hasn't gone up a level. It's the storyline thing. It's the narrative. Like you said, everyone's seen Giannis do all those things, so they're tired of it. Like that's where he's losing this. I agree. Like he's probably one of the most valuable players in the league.
I would argue he should be top 3. I'm not saying like people have him not even top 5. That's what I'm saying. Like there are people that have this man not even top 5 when I think he should be bona fide number 2 or 3. But like depending on how valuable you see Jokic, even though the Nuggets are like the 6th seed in the West, hard fought West. But
you don't like Jokic, Wayne? I keep seeing you react every time he comes up. What's the issue?
Yeah, I'm just listening. I'm listening to my man. I'm trying to learn something. But I mean, all the Jokic stuff.
The only thing I don't have, I like his level of play is so exceptional. It's just it doesn't translate to winning. That's my grade. Like I want if the Nuggets were, I'd say, a top 3 seed. Yeah, put him in. Put him in over Embiid for MVP.
The Nuggets ain't gonna be a top 3 seed long as Jokic.
I'm saying if they were, you put him in, you'd lock him in for MVP.
But Jamal Murray and Michael Porter are hurt. Like his second and third best player on his team, they're not there, and he has them.
I don't care if they had Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, and Alex English. I'm not putting the damn Nuggets in a 3 seed with Joker as the best player.
Dude, why they've already made the conference finals.
I also saw him go down 3-1 twice in the same damn playoff season, the whole postseason.
Yeah, that they won both series.
Yeah, but if you go down, I've never thought of a great team that goes down 3-1 twice. Let me ask you something. Can y'all see Philly winning the championship this year? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see the Bucks winning the championship this year?
Yeah.
Right. Can you see, I don't think it'll happen, but you can see a world where the Warriors win a championship if they get all their stuff together.
Got to see more from Clay, but he's got time. I can see it.
I'll be honest. I don't have the Warriors making that segment.
And that's cool. Can you see KD winning the championship with the Nets?
Absolutely.
Right. Now, can you see Joker winning the championship with the Nuggets? Let's just say they're healthy. Let's just say they're healthy for conversation. Can you see them winning the championship this year?
If they were healthy, yeah, I think so.
I mean, here
over all these teams we just named, over Brooklyn, over the Bucks. Hell, yes. I would trust the Heat or the Bulls to win it before I would the Nuggets.
No, that's just wrong. The way they looked last year, once they acquired Aaron Gordon, they were fully healthy for like a little bit, and they were just destroying the league. Like Jokic has gone up a level. It's tough to say because it's been so long since we saw them with Jamal Murray, but they're one of the best teams in the league.
I mean, okay,
they ain't one of the best teams in Colorado. They ain't one of the best teams in the league.
Okay, so say the NBA, say the playoff standings stand where they are right now, and let's just say for the sake of this argument that the 9 seed Lakers and the 10 seed Pelicans don't make the tournament, and you have the Clippers and the Timberwolves as your 7 and 8 seeds.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are playing the Grizzlies.
Who's going to win that series?
Who's playing?
That's a good series. No, I bet it's going to be a great series to watch. But I'd say both teams fully healthy, probably the Nuggets.
Oh, I would take the Grizzlies there. I feel
I'd
like
take Nuggets in 7 just
Steve,
because, one, they have more playoff experience, and two, I would trust the Joker in playoff time more than
Here's
John
why.
Steven
Morant.
Adams is a tough matchup for him though. If they go against the Grizzlies, that's a physical center for a long period. What you got, Wayne?
I would take, and I know the point guard theory, and most 95% of the time, I would take somebody with the better big man over the point guard stuff. You know, heard me with the point guard stuff. But the only reason why I would take Ja in Memphis over Joker in Denver is because at least I can see a scenario where Ja will take over a series. I can see where he can just put his weight and his foot on a game. I can see him do something spectacular. I can see him galvanize the troops. I can see him doing something incredible. With Joker, he is what they call him. They call him a point center. A point center. I trust Joker to make the best play. I don't trust him to take over.
Can I bring something up though?
What?
I just want to say, if you're saying you can see Ja doing it in the playoffs, everything that Ja's done in the playoffs, Jamal Murray has done the same thing too with 50-point games. Like like he's a scorer. Like Jokic and Murray together is just better than what the Grizzlies have. I would take Ja over Murray, but that combination, it would
Like,
it makes them a better team.
I'd say Nuggets and 7 because that's a better team. Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon,
Yep.
Michael
Porter
Jr.
And don't they still ain't Will Barton still over there?
Will Barton, like Bones Highland's a good player off the
Boogie
bench.
Cousins. Boogie Cousins just put up 31-9 recently.
I forgot they had him. I forgot they had him.
He is a very good compliment to.
And look, I'll be honest. I'll go and tell on myself. Can I tell on myself real quick? I haven't watched the Nuggets game in about 2.5, 3 months. 2.5, 3 months. You know why? Every time I hear somebody say joke, I just get narcoleptic all of a sudden real quick. Wake me up in the playoff. You know that song by Green Day, Wake Me Up When September Ends? Wake me up when the season ends. So when the playoffs happen, I'll be wide awake and everything. So I'll look at highlight scores just to see, so I just don't sound like an idiot if I say something about the Nuggets. But wake me up in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? When they start doing some of the playoffs, I'll watch it. But Joker, he don't give me take over vibes like all them other guys I was sitting there naming. I know he's a good center. I got him number 2 right there behind Embiid. I like Joker. He's cool. But when we talking about, I just think there's a drop-off between the LeBrons, the Giannis's, the KDs, the Embiids, and then you got Joker. Hell, I would rather have Luka over Joker. And I'm not crazy about
take.
I'll say this. Wait, so do you, Wayne, can you see the Grizzlies making the championship?
Hell no. Point guard theory, baby. He eliminated.
Okay, what's a bigger thing you see? The Nuggets in the NBA Finals or the Grizzlies?
I mean, damn, did the Suns die?
They're not. I'm just saying between those two teams.
Between them two. Okay, you got me. I'll say Memphis.
I'll ask you this: Memphis or Golden State?
Golden State.
Because that's who they play in the second round if the standings stand and they beat the Nuggets.
That'd be a great matchup. Yeah. I'd like to see that a lot. John, Steph back and forth. They played in the play-in last year.
And yeah,
he's actually won.
That, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
7-game series.
I would take Golden State over Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
I'd say Warriors in 6.
Yeah, so speaking of playing, Lakers, I guess, are kind of lurking now. Like, LeBron had 55. Do we think LeBron can carry them somewhere?
Points in a row for the rest of the season? No. The Lakers will drop to the 10th seed. They will play the Timberwolves, and they will lose by 15 to the Timberwolves. I will predict their season right now. They will drop to 10. They will play the Timberwolves, and they will lose They will lose by 15 to the Timberwolves.
I would like that. Underrate D'Angelo Russell ending the Lakers season after what they did to him would be pretty good.
I just saw this, but went into your point. The Nuggets are 37 and 26, while the Timberwolves are 36 and 29. So that's a small gap between the 6 and 17. I will say that.
I mean, I want to take Karl Anthony Towns over Joker because I just like Karl Anthony Towns more, but I'd have to take Joker. And I hate that because I love Karl Anthony Towns. I do. And I wish I could say Joker cannot beat Karl Anthony Towns. I would love to see the the Minnesota Timberwolves beat Denver. I would love that. But I just don't know if that can happen. Because I think
they're both going to be lower
PER stuff and all this stat stuff, and people trying to make it like, Joker is the best center that God ever created, or he got the best statistical season and he better than Akeem Olajuwon or Will Chamberlain. All that PER stuff, it just rubs me wrong. Because when I'm looking at him on the court, I just don't see, hey, that's the best center. Hey, that's an MVP. Hey, that guy can win me a championship. I just don't see any of that from Joker. I see all that with Embiid for sure. Because I got
back to Theo's point on the Lakers. This isn't sustainable. For my first thoughts after seeing LeBron's 55.9, that's not sustainable. You're not gonna. It is nowhere near sustainable. It is. I believe LeBron called it best after his post-game press conference. LeBron said it best. This was a desperation performance. This was the Lakers had nothing to lose. Because you lost 4 straight. You lose 5 straight. There's not really anything anyone else can say other than boo Russell Westbrook or boo Anthony Davis. But Lakers, if they drop one more, if they were 28 and 36, they would only be half a game ahead of the Pelicans for the 10th seed. Like, it is damning to me that a LeBron James-led team is even in that position in the first place. But it's even more damning that after I saw 4 years ago, 2018 LeBron destroy the NBA Eastern Conference, that he has to come back at the age of, I believe, 37 and put a 55 over the Golden State Warriors, who do not have Draymond. That is an important asterisk. Who do not have Draymond in order to eke out a win. It's not sustainable. This is a classic version of a one-off.
If they can just make it into the play-in with Davis, though, you don't think they have a chance? No, because they've been a tough team in the playoffs with Anthony Davis.
Do they beat the Clippers?
It doesn't look like it, honestly.
They've lost 6 straight against the Clippers.
The Clippers just beat them silly. Like, they beat them by like 20 the other day. They look like a much better team.
They ain't beat the Clippers yet, I don't believe. And that's
they are 0-6 against the Los Angeles Clippers.
And then they ain't had Kawhi either time. And I don't think they had Paul George the past couple of times. But I know Kawhi ain't played, so they ain't beat the Clippers yet this year.
Yeah, Ty Lue still has the Clippers fighting. He's one of the best coaches in the league.
He think he's the best coach in the league. Yeah, I think he's the best coach.
The playoff adjustments he's made, no one's ever been better at making in-series adjustments that I've ever seen.
Oh, I was going to say something about Pat Riley, but you said that.
Before my time. I got you. Me on that.
But recent memory, Ty Lue, for sure. Recent memory, yeah.
All right, so that brings me talking about a coach of the year candidates this year. I think we got some good ones, like Taylor Jenkins in Memphis. We got Spo down in Miami. Ime Udoka in Boston starting to break out a little bit. Monty Williams, of course, with the Suns. Billy Donovan in Chicago. What do you guys got for your coach of the year pick?
Tyronn Lue.
Still, even though 34 and 31, you're that impressed?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're supposed. I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to do. I don't know if you give it to the coach with the best record. But me, I mean, it's really between two people to me. It's between Tyronn Lue and honestly, I would say the Heat.
There we go.
But if I had to pick, I would pick Tyronn Lue if I had to pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'd either give it to Spo or I'd either give it to Monty.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he has that team on a roll.
Yeah, the Suns are 51-13. Like I don't know if a lot of people realize it, and their record probably will fall off a little down the stretch. But
you know, what we saying that last episode, the episode before last, I don't know when it happened about. I think it was right before All-Star break, right after All-Star break. Before didn't we think they was gonna fall? Or at least I know I did. I thought they were gonna take a step back, and they've been, you know, rolling and bowling ever since. Like they ain't lost yet. I don't even think they got Booker. They didn't have Booker against the Knicks.
Yeah, they just lost to the Bucks earlier today. But even then, like that game was close with like I was impressed. It was a tie game late. Like Suns had the lead. It was no Booker, no CP. Like so, yeah. Credit to Monty if anyone wants to have him as coach of the year. Would not have a problem with that.
I believe coach of the year is between Spo and Monty. Like those are the only two I would say viable candidates. Just because Monty has that team running without superstars and they're the first seed in the West. Anytime you're the first seed in the West, you did something right. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you did it in the first week of the season or the last week of the season. You did something right if you are the first seed in the Western Conference of the National Basketball Association.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of that, though, I think Spo is a huge advantage for the Heat in the playoffs. Like, underrated, people talking about them getting to the finals. Like, they're going to be the one seed, and the other top teams, like, Spo's a better coach than Doc Rivers. We've seen Doc Rivers fumble playoff series. He's better than Mike Budenholzer. He's better than Billy Donovan. Like, Spo's going to give them a big advantage over these other Eastern Conference coaches. I think that's something that's not being talked about a
lot. Sidetrack a little bit, because I'm not sure if we gave this man some love on this show in previous episodes, but can we shout out Pop? This man is
for what?
one win away, I believe, because he could have done it against my Hornets last night, but my Hornets beat the Spurs. But he has a chance tomorrow night against the Los Angeles Lakers to break the all-time wins record by a head coach. Is that not simply anything short of amazing?
Yeah, that should be getting talked about a little bit more.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, he's had a dynasty. He's got a top 10 player all time, or had a top 10 player all time. He had one of the better dynasties. You know, he's probably. I guess they'd probably be 5 on my list, 5 or 6. You know, that Manu, Tony, Tim thing they had going on. I guess it may be 5 or 6 on the dynasty list. You know, sustainability, and it was in the West, and at a time where the West was rough and rugged. So yeah, that's great. But you know, you've been coaching since the Louisiana Purchase. So
yeah, he's struggled lately, like with this new era of the NBA. Like they did not find a good way to use DeRozan at all, and you see DeRozan left, and now he's back to putting up 29 points a game again, and like they shoot the least threes in the league. So he's definitely struggled a little bit moving into this.
I don't knock nobody for shooting less threes, and I don't knock that because the Bulls are low too. You know what I mean? People let people tell it you got to shoot 150 threes to win a game, and I don't think that's true at all. But matter of fact, the Suns is low on that list too. We was talking about the Suns. The Suns are low on that list, and Brooklyn low on that list.
Yeah,
as far as like shooting.
Yeah, they have stars that shoot a lot of mid-range shots, so I think that's the one exception. You're going to pass or shoot a lot of threes. If someone's shooting mid-range, though, it's got to be a superstar. Like
that's
role
where
players
the money
don't get
at.
that pass anymore.
It's the hardest part on the field to guard, and you know it's closer to the rim. It's a higher percentage shot. Yeah, I don't see why more people don't get their DeMar DeRozan or Kawhi Leonard or Jordan on or Karl Malone or Embiid or Karl Anthony Towns or something.
In the finals last year, like Middleton, like that's where he kills people too in that mid range.
I mean, that's where it's at. But you know, everybody want to shoot threes, but you know, don't get me started. So, but no, Coach of the Year, I I think y'all kind of talked me into Spo. I just kind of want to see Ty Lue do it, but because I feel like Ty Lue should have got that LA job for real. I kind of wanted. Well, I guess he is in LA. I was talking about the Lakers. I kind of wanted. I wish he had coached the Lakers, but
Yeah. Cleveland probably shouldn't have fired him either. I mean, they're doing all right this year, but I would have liked to see Ty Lue out there with like Darius Garland and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen and doing all the stuff you can do with that team.
yeah.
Do you guys remember Theo and Wayne, the storyline that Monty Williams refused the Lakers job? That he turned down the Lakers job, and he ultimately ended up signing with the Suns. If Monty Williams is the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, how much would that change for the Lakers now?
Not a damn thing, because the Lakers team still old as hell. And they still ain't playing defense, and they're not gonna have.
But I'm saying, would LeBron have signed the same players? Would they have traded for Westbrook? Would the Suns have gone to? I feel like there's a lot of things that you could really question. Had Monty Williams actually signed on to be the head coach?
But I don't think like Frank Vogel is the reason that like any of this roster got screwed up. I mean, the roster is terrible, and like they just don't have the right guys to play. And it starts from the fact that like Jeannie Buss won't hire outside of the Lakers family. Like they have Rob Pelinka running things. I think he's fumbled the bag. Like you got LeBron and AD, two of the best players in the league. It's hard to screw that up.
Anthony Davis,
and they've screwed up everything around them.
Shoe Davis. That man cannot stay healthy. If anything, I saw Stephen A. saying this, and I think he's probably right. It is that you probably do start thinking about trading Anthony Davis. There was a report I read that that said you could probably get Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo for Anthony Davis.
No, there's no way they're doing that. They might not even do Bam straight up.
But I'm saying
ain't nobody gonna do that.
I am saying that is the value that Anthony Davis still holds.
No, not anymore. He hasn't stayed healthy. His value is the lowest it's ever been. Like you can't trade him now.
Anthony Davis in the hospital molding the damn people that work there. You can't trade no man. No. But I was saying along.
So, yeah. So, never mind. I disregarded just because it was from Chris Broussard. That's why.
Chris Broussard, Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, Nick Wright. I don't give a damn who said it. Ain't nobody in their right mind get ready to trade Anthony Davis for Jimmy Butler and a Bam out the box.
So here's the quote. Here's the quote from Chris Broussard. He goes, "Somebody who works in the league, works with a lot of players. We talked after the deadline. Said he would have done Anthony Davis for Bam Adebayo,
and he would have lost his damn job.
I would do him for Bam and Jimmy. We all know Pat Riley likes stars. He might have done that.
No,
Pat Riley wouldn't have did no shit like that.
No way.
Pat Riley wouldn't have did no bull job like that. When
That's
you got
horrible.
the Heat #1 in the East, and you got Anthony Davis, missing 4 games for a hangnail. He ain't finna do that. He watching Anthony Davis curl up on the floor like Peter Griffin, just like me and you are. He ain't finna do that for Anthony Davis. I wish I would trade for Anthony Davis, and he ain't played but 36 minutes all season long. Anthony Davis for to mess up my chemistry? For what? What has Anthony Davis done to warrant any type of trade value whatsoever? I would.
If you put 80 on the Lakers right now,
if I put
they have a fighting chance.
Yeah, the Lakers are best off just keeping AD.
Get pushed up and down the damn field when he playing. The Lakers was bad. It ain't like the Lakers was bad because Anthony Davis been missing. Because I didn't see Anthony Davis get bush whooped all through the season 2. We didn't see Anthony Davis lose while he playing. So it ain't like the Lakers win when everybody there. Because they didn't look bad with Anthony Davis. They look bad without him. They look bad with LeBron James. They look bad without him. They look bad with Russell Westbrook, and they look bad without him. So if Anthony Davis, if you gonna lose games with or without, why trade for him? And even before this season, he was hurt last year. And in the bubble thing, okay, you got the bubble, okay, great. But before that, did we not forget? Did we forget about the the Pelicans, when he was missing the playoffs every year, well, minus the 1 year got past Portland. But even when he's healthy, what has he done as a star player? What has he done to say, hey, I'm going to give up my whole future? Now, he hoodwinked the Lakers.
You could say he puts his body on the line. It's just not much of a body to put on the line.
So I'm going to get rid of a broke body. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you this right now. You watch football?
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay. Would you trade? I got Cam Newton. I'm going to give you Cam Newton if you give me Josh Allen.
Man, that's not the
That's not the
My
same
God, it ain't the
thing.
same. My God, it ain't the
You
same.
do not know.
Why? I got
Cam
an
Newton-
MVP. I ain't been doing Super Bowl.
What I'm
Cam
saying
Newton
is,
was 6 years ago.
Bam
AD
Adebayo
was 2
not
years
Josh
ago.
Allen. Josh Allen is a top 10 player in the league, top three player in this position. Is Bam Adebayo even close to that?
Yeah, Bam Adebayo is right outside being a top 3 center. I'd say he's probably 4th.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He's right. Theo's right.
Yeah,
I'm with him.
Yeah, definitely. He averages 19
I don't
points a
think
game.
that's
He's a
not
top 3 defensive center. He's young. He's getting better. Definitely. You're
not making that
underrating
trade.
Bam.
Like, obviously, in the football side, you're not making that trade. But
You ain't making it in basketball.
No,
I'm not saying I'd make it.
I think the Heat would say no. I think if you'd rather have an asset right now, you'd rather have Bam.
No, I'm reporting what Chris Broussard said. I did not say
Chris
I did not say
Broussard
I would
didn't
trade
that
Anthony.
tweet.
I would say I would consider trading Anthony Davis. If you're telling me you can get something, if you're telling me you can get
Now, if you the Lakers,
not just see what's available.
If you the Lakers, hell yeah, for sure. If you're the Lakers, who you like? All right, let me tell you. Look, you know what? You know what I would trade Anthony Davis for? I'll tell you what is that value for. Y'all ready for this? I would trade Anthony Davis for Al Horford.
Nah.
I mean, sure, Anthony Davis is better, but goddamn, I don't know if you're gonna play 5 games or 5 minutes.
Those 5 minutes are going to be damn good, though.
It's 5 minutes. You know how long a basketball game is? You owe me 43 more minutes, sir.
I pray Anthony Davis gets healthy. Game's better when
I pray
he's
he get healthy and stay healthy. We done seen him get healthy a lot, but he need to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
We done seen this brother, hurt wrists, fingers, knees, feet. What he hurt with right now?
I believe it's his foot. I believe it's a lower ankle injury. Ooh,
I don't even know why I asked that, because it'll be
guys,
something else.
Guys, an update from Shams Duranya. Cleveland Cavaliers All-Star center Jared Allen has suffered a fractured finger.
So let me ask you this. Whenever Anthony Davis...
Hold on. Jared Allen has suffered a fractured finger and is expected to be sidelined indefinitely for his tell the athletic and
yeah, the Cavs are dropping out of that.
That is not a good. And have you seen the Cavs schedule? Yeah, I saw this the other day. The Cavs schedule, and now that they don't have Jared Allen, that is even more brutal. But here's their schedule.
They're out of guards too. The lineups they've been playing,
Yeah.
they've been having to start Okoro, Markkanen.
Let's say the next 10 games at the Pacers, at the Heat, at the Bulls, home against the Clippers, home against the Sixers, home against the Nuggets, home against the Pistons, home against the Lakers, travel on the road to Toronto, and then the Bulls come to Cleveland. That's not good for the Cavs at all. That's a majority of games. They can drop into the play-in tournament type status.
Yeah, they have a 3-game lead right now. You think they hold that or no?
I would say no. If Jared Allen's out, definitely no.
Yeah, I don't know what they do without Jared Allen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jared Allen was an all-star this year. Like he's a great player.
Evan Mobley can do so much.
And they already lost Rubio, Sexton. Like Garland's back, but he's been banged up for them.
If I'm the Nuggets, I look at this as a good opportunity to get out of the plane.
The Nuggets.
Yeah, sorry, I mean the Nets. I don't. Yikes.
Yeah.
I'm still hung up on our Jokic conversation. If I'm the Nets, this is a great opportunity to get back into the playoffs.
Nets are 5.5 games back.
The Nets are gonna be fine. The the thing I wonder about is what's the deal with Ben Simmons? That's what I wonder about more than anything else.
They said he's not showing up at least until after the Sixers game. But he's going to avoid that at all costs. What happens if it's Philly,
I
Brooklyn in
want
the
to see a
playoffs?
Brooklyn Nets versus Philadelphia 76ers series so bad.
Yeah, I don't know what he's
Just
going to
to
do.
Is he going to be a professional water boy for that team? Like, is he going to send the water boy in his place? Or that's going to be an interesting series to watch for sure.
Prediction for that series? I'd have like Sixers in 6 or something like that.
Oh,
Philly?
Nets in 7.
I mean, I got Philly winning it all. So any team y'all roll out there, I'm picking Philly.
I agree with that. Everything I've seen of Harden and Embiid together, they look like the best team.
By the way, didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all they was getting ready to shake it and bake it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you called it. I was waiting to see, but everything I've seen has looked good so far. Harden looks like he's bought in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he gonna be bought in. I mean, because if he show up and they look worse, then who you gonna point at? It ain't gonna be him. Can't blame Ben Simmons. He's not there.
I'll ask you this, since you are a big 76ers believer. Which team is going to give the 76ers the hardest time to play out?
Brooklyn.
And you would still take Brooklyn you would take Philadelphia in 7 or 6?
6.
I think I'd say Nets in 7. I think it'd be very similar to the Bucks Nets series in last year's playoffs.
Well, we know how that ended up.
Yeah, the Bucks won.
Yeah, but if Kevin Durant's shoe size is an inch long, if he wore size 15 sneakers, we're not.
He know what shoes he had. He know what size of shoe he wore before the game, and then what happened in overtime? They still had overtime. He had
I'm just saying.
Time to do something.
I'm saying it'd be a lot closer than 6. I'm saying it'd be probably overtime in 7 type thing, like multiple overtime games.
I mean, I kind of want to say, I kind of want to say I trust Milwaukee more than I do the Nets, but I just feel like when you got KD, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, you got
Seth Curry, Andre Drummond.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Andre Drummond. I mean, that's a lot of beef. That's a lot of sauce, and I don't know if Milwaukee can overcome all that. Now, I don't know what I'm gonna see with Ben Simmons. We know he ain't gonna be improved. We know that. So, but I think Ben Simmons at what he was makes Brooklyn better because you don't need him to shoot. You know, you got shooting all over the place, so he really don't need to take too much of the shoot. Mm-hmm. So I just want to see how ingratiated he can be.
Yeah, how is Brooklyn covering Embiid too? Because either they got to throw Simmons on him, or they got to put like a big on him like Claxton. But then you're gonna have Claxton and Simmons
Claxton
on the court together, which is you got 2 non-shooters on the court. Like you throw Aldridge on him or Drummond. Like then if it's Drummond and Simmons, it's 2 non-shooters. I think the lineup poses a problem.
You gonna have to put Drummond on there. You can't put Nick Claxton on or Ben Simmons on. After everything, you gonna put Ben Simmons on JoJo?
You can't handle that.
JoJo will turn that boy every way but loose. The only person you can put on there is Ben Simmons, Andre Drummond. That's the only person.
And you know what happens? Centers go up against Embiid. They're in foul trouble 5 minutes into the game. Like that's going to happen, and someone else is going to have to play.
You know,
especially with Harden too. Like everyone they play against is getting in foul trouble.
Joel Embiid and Shaq, them two are different to me for one particular reason. Because when they both got it rolling, they're both unstoppable. But the thing with Shaq, and I don't know if y'all remember watching Shaq, but people was legit and starting to put 3 centers on their lineup, like not in their lineup, but on their roster, because Shaq was getting everybody in trouble. They was fouling out, and you couldn't put no guard or nothing on Shaq. So they were sitting there drafting more centers and signing more centers just so they could have a big body. You know, I think Embiid has that same type of effect where you're going to need a lot of centers, not because you just want to play through a big man, but just because you need somebody with some size just to slow him down. I mean, you're not just going to put clamps. I mean, unless you got like Dikembe Mutombo laying around or something. You're not putting clamps on JoJo.
Yeah, that Knicks game, Jericho Sims and Mitchell Robinson, they both fouled out. Like they burned through 12 fouls on him, and like they both only played like 18 minutes. Because with Harden out there too, you're just gonna need a ton of bigs.
Right, and Shaq and Joel Embiid, the only two centers that I can think of that warranted that kind of attention. The only difference is Joel Embiid is a good free throw shooter. Shaq, he hit him sometimes, but
yeah. Did you see there was a screenshot from yesterday too from the Heat game? Like Embiid had the ball on the 3-point line, and there was 3 guys on him. Like he was getting triple teamed. Like what other center do you see that with? That they're throwing 3 guys on him, like out at the 3-point line. He's just that deadly.
Yeah, I don't see people doing that for JoJo, but ain't none of my business.
Is there what else is on the docket to be covered for the topics?
We got a little bit of Celtics if we want to talk about. Jason Tatum, 54. Anything else you guys want to bring up before we get?
I got a question for y'all. I got a question for y'all. It's all maybe left field, but just I was gonna talk about it later. Actually, I was gonna talk about a couple things, but what y'all think is gonna happen with Zion? Because I'll be honest, I don't think he's past this. I think he's gone in the offseason. Basically, let me say it like that. I think he's gone in the offseason.
Mm-hmm. Now, I ain't gonna say what's the trade package. What's the trade package for Zion?
I'll tell you what.
Assuming he wants to go to the Knicks, what do the Knicks give up?
Shoot, everything except Cam Reddish and RJ. You want Julius? You got it. You want Mitchell Robinson? You got it. You want Jericho? You got it. You want what's left to Kemba? You got it. Whatever you want, whatever you want, you got it. If the Knicks can get Zion Williamson, we'll give you about a couple coupons on some pretzels. Mitchell Robinson.
It's going to take every first round pick the Knicks have, but it might be worth it.
First round pick, although that's kind of what screwed the Knicks over, in the past. But we'll do that for Zion Williamson. Y'all can sit in the suite. Y'all get some new seats when y'all sitting on the bench. Whatever you need for Zion Williamson, we'll blow it up. I promise you, we'll give you everything except Cam Reddish and RJ. You can have and we'll keep quickly. So besides them 3, you can have whatever you want. You know what? And depending on what you're talking about, we might give you quickly.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. I think you're gonna have to give up something real and all those picks.
I believe, you'd have to base your 2 trade assets on Emmanuel Quickly and Julius Randle.
That's fine.
Remember, at the trade deadline,
even a trade asset.
At the trade deadline, everyone was up for grabs except RJ.
Like I don't even think Julius Randle's a trade asset. I don't know how another team is even viewing him positively. He's
now, let me ask you
one of
this.
the worst defenders in the NBA.
If you're New Orleans, would you want to give up Zion?
No, I mean, you got to do everything.
He's a number 1 pick from 2 years ago
on a rookie contract.
You trade him 2 years later.
I think they just screwed the whole thing up. Like the best title window you're going to have is when you have Zion Williamson making $5 million a year, like rookie salary. Like they should have a loaded team built around him to win now. I feel like and take advantage of that rookie contract,
similar to what we see in the NFL.
And they've just wasted this whole deal. They had Anthony Davis, they traded him, they got Brandon Ingram, who's okay, and they got Lonzo, who is a great player, is a great fit. They gave Lonzo away this offseason for nothing,
which was a mistake.
Sadaransky, yeah, like they've just screwed up everything around him. Like this roster's terrible. I mean, I think they kind of made a good move getting McCollum, but they've mostly just screwed up this whole Zion experience, and now they're going to lose him and get nothing out of it, which is crazy because he was one of the most hyped up players going into the league that we've seen.
Yep. I ain't gonna lie. If I was a Pelicans, I would do a couple things different. So it may not be popular to say, but the best guy on the Pelicans, even when everybody's healthy and all hands are on deck, the best guy is Brandon Ingram. He's the best guy. And I think everybody falls for Zion because he's the flashy one. He's got the highlights, the dunks, blocks, all that good stuff. But when the money's on the line, I really need somebody that, if I'm going to give somebody the ball, I'm going to give it to Brandon Ingram because he can score from everywhere. He can put it on the floor. And he can, if Zion's open, or he can get it to Zion if he needs to be. Because Zion's really better off the ball. I've never really been a big point Zion guy.
Yeah,
I
all
like
he
Zion.
does is dribble left and throw something up off the dribble. He's got
Right.
one move.
So I'm definitely I like Zion off the ball more than I do on it. But no, man, like you said, they didn't jack the whole thing up. But what you can do, you can get a lot. You can get a lot for Zion. Mm-hmm. So if I'm like, hey, Zion's for sale, whether it be the Knicks or whoever else is interested.
I think he's got to show up and play though before somebody trades.
I think he will. I don't think because look, none of this was a problem before he got to New Orleans. None of this was a problem. He wasn't staying away from the team. He wasn't. I think some of that he could play in shape. I think he's kind of doing what the James Harden did, like in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna say he's faking this whole thing, but I don't think he's in a hurry to get back to New Orleans. I know he's said he's back now, but I don't think he's in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Usually when you see teams that's hurt or players that's hurt, they're sitting on the bench with the team or something. This brother went all the way to Portland. Why? You see what I'm saying? So I don't think he's been in a big hurry to stay in shape. You was 330 at one point. I don't think he's 330 now, but at the time he was 330. I just don't think he's really enthusiastic about being in New Orleans. And we saw that report about him not being crazy about Blake Griffin. And I don't blame him. I wouldn't trust David Griffin to wash my car. So, yeah, I agree with it. Mm-hmm. I agree. I would go ahead and wash my hands with it. I know it was, he was a number one pick, like you said, Kannan, 2 years ago, number one pick. And I know we had high aspirations. We were supposed to go to the championship together and be a dynasty. He was supposed to be the guy that take the torch right after.
He averaged like 27 points a game last year in his second year. Like when he's played, he's been very good.
When he's played.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to go and get me somebody that is going to play. Mm-hmm. And by the way, CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram ain't looking too bad.
That's what I'm saying. Do you think they have a chance? Like if Zion, like I said, he's a 27 point per game scorer. Like any chance he comes back, like McCollum, Ingram, Zion, like could they make any noise?
Because the West is so wide open, they can make a splash. But I don't see them depending on where they win and how they won. If Zion's going to be what he was when he was playing, we don't know how he's going to look. I mean, they might try to, fight in the play-in. I think them and the Lakers might end up fighting for a play-in spot. And that's with everything going right for New Orleans. Because we still don't know when. Personally, I don't think Zion's coming back this year. I've kind of been on that.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, I really don't think Zion wants to be there. Now, I know everybody was talking about him wanting to be with the Knicks. I know he was glowing about the Knicks and talking about them. And he loves playing in the Garden. And now RJ and Cam's there. And then it's a mess in New Orleans. And plus, we got to look at New Orleans. It seems like don't no star like to be in New Orleans. Chris Paul, he didn't like to be in New Orleans. Anthony Davis, he didn't want to be in New Orleans. And now Zion, obviously, he don't want to be in New Orleans. Now, he ain't vehemently said, get me out of here. He ain't just been loud talking about demand a trade, but we don't see this brother, doing what he can. We don't see him being joyous and all in love with, New Orleans either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another thing that they had Drew Holiday, who's like a borderline star. He was just one of the best players on a championship team. They traded him for Eric Bledsoe. Like that was another star that got out of New Orleans. Like they keep screwing this up.
So I got no reason to think that Zion wants to be there. And I'll be honest. And I'm just the guy. If you don't want to be around, I don't want you there. Like if I'm dating somebody and like, hey Wayne, I don't want to be with you no more. I'm not gonna do the baby please routine. I'm like, all right, cool. And then you can go and go your way. I'm kind of the same way with players. Like if a player wants to axe out, then I'm gonna go and move on from him. I'm gonna try to get what I can, and I'm gonna wash my hands with it.
I wonder how the Lakers are gonna handle that with Westbrook. It's like it's like you can ask out, but I mean, $47 million is $47 million.
Yeah, I don't know who's taking that.
I know who will. I give
Is
you
there a
a hint. They play in
chance
Madison
that if
Square
you're the
Garden.
Lakers,
Yeah.
is there a chance that if you're the
Knicks will.
Lakers, do you buy him out? Do you just
Yeah.
eat that $47 million?
There's a chance, yeah.
I could see that happening.
But here's the thing, though. So, if let's just say Russ is gone next year, are the Lakers a better team? Because I don't think
Yeah.
Russ is the problem.
Honestly, yes.
No, but it's
Yes.
Russ is, I think I would say yes, just because
Locker room's
building
gonna
a
be
team
better,
around
but
LeBron,
you just reset. It's like you go back to before it was Westbrook.
it's not hard to build a team around
They
LeBron.
was bad
All you have to
without
do,
Russ.
all you have to do is put shooters around him, and that's like I don't want to blame Russ because Russ this year has been the exact same player that he's been the last couple years, but he's just not a shooter. So like, I'm not going to blame
He's not a shooter.
Russ for
and,
being
like,
Russ, but just the roster building, you need to put shooters around Bron if you want to succeed.
that, and
Go
more
ahead,
like
Kannan.
everything that Russ does is just amplified more than LA. Like he was doing the same thing in Washington. We're not talking about Washington. We're just not. Like we talk about LA, and LA is the city of angels. Like everything you do there, both good and bad, is both magnified. Like that's not even. I'd argue that Russ, he may be at a slight drop off, but there is that stat floating on the internet that he still has a better field goal percentage than Steph. So
Got to look at the shots they're
Honestly,
taking
nobody
there.
in their right mind is getting ready to take. I mean, I feel you. And that's Russ gets a lot of hate too because if you put Steph Curry on them OKC teams, they probably wouldn't have went too much farther than Russ took them. Same thing with Dame Lillard. I don't think that there's not a point guard around that would have took OKC any farther than what they did. And we love.
I'll say this though. If you took Steph out of that Thunder Heat series, if you took Russ out of that Thunder Heat series, way back in like 2013-14, right, when they were both in the finals, and you replace them with Dame or Steph, do the Thunder get that done?
No, I don't think that would change anything. They were not ready to win.
Because they made it all the way to the finals. I mean, there was something there. But if you put someone like Steph, or if you put someone like Dame, or if you put Chris Paul, if you put another point guard there, does that change history, and do the Suns win that title?
No,
because Russ was better than those guys in 2014.
And they wasn't better, and the Thunder wasn't better than the Heat.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, yeah, you can put whoever you want to at point guard, but regardless of, unless you're gonna say like Magic Johnson or something, then
that Heat team's one of the best teams of all time.
Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
So
still amazing how Dirk beat him. All right, guys, I gotta check out. I got some people to take care of. I'm gonna check in with y'all later. Good podcast.
All right, see you.
See you, man.
You got any parting words, Wayne, before we get out of here?
Nah, man, that's all I got. I'm glad. Thank y'all for keeping the Knicks out the damn show as much as we could. I know we kind of mentioned them because I'm still on boycott. But
yeah.
All right, thanks,
guys.
Thanks for listening, guys. Check us out, sportswave.net. Good content on there. We're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you need. All right.